Guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Wimbledon. If we could get 400, maybe even 5 on the video, that would be spectacular. Likes, that is, of course. Now, we've got a lot to talk about, basically, and the first thing I want to address before we get into any transfer stuff is the elephant in the room. Some of you may have noticed it already. I'm guessing it seems smaller this year. And that is that the USA manager was sacked. I applied for the job, and we got it. So we are now the manager of the United States. Now, those of you who have joined the series late will probably not know what I'm talking about, and that is basically, I said that I would take one international job, and that international job, if it was available, would be the United States, because I have a lot of American subs, and I generally wanted to do something regarding the States, but I didn't want to do an MLS save, just because I don't really like them personally. That's just not something I would enjoy, and I know that people want to see it, but I wouldn't want to do a save that I'm not going to enjoy, because then you wouldn't enjoy watching me play it, if you know what I mean by that. So I thought a national team one would be good, and basically the save is going to run parallel to Wimbledon. So what that means essentially is that I will record the games that we play for the United States games in between the Wimbledon ones. You won't see those. And then every sort of few episodes, there'll be an extra episode, which will be a United States one. Now, what I want your input on is this. What should I call these? Because it's technically a separate series, but it's just running in parallel in the same universe. So yeah, what should I call the other series? Do let me know in the comments. Have a look through. If you've got a suggestion, do drop it in the comments as well, of course. And if you see someone else's suggestion that you like, vote it up so I can see the best ones at the top so we can decide what to call the series. I've got the thumbnail done already. I just need the title. So let's get into some things. Basically, there's going to be a lot of signings, of course. We've actually got a lot of ins and outs. This has probably been our busiest summer to date. So we're going to jump straight in. First, you'll see all the players that have come in, and then I'll also take you through all the players that have left as well, because I think that's important to note. Or certainly the ones that have left that are of any note and have left for actual transfers fees. So anyway, let's get into it. Cue the music and let's see some transfers. First player in is an Englishman. Now, okay, I saw some people complaining about the lack of English players that we'd signed, and I don't really care, to be honest, about whether they're from England or from anywhere, but we do have to have a certain number of English players to fit the rules anyway, and that's the reason I've signed some of these guys, because they've got decent potential as well. And this was, I think you might have remembered me saying a couple of seasons ago, I was after a guy called Asa Tolson. I could have got him cheaper at the time, but because of the wage situation we were at the time, I couldn't actually bring him in the end, which is annoying. So we've had to pay over the odds a little bit. He's cost us 10 million from Wolves. I think originally we'd agreed a £3 million fee, but that's just how these things go. I'm pleased with the lad. I think he's got great potential for the future. He's a defensive midfielder by trade, which is great because it gives us a good backup for Sam Farmer, and he can play out on the right wing if we need him to as well. And he can play in the centre. He's a very versatile player. I'm a fan of him personally. To be honest, so I'm glad we brought him in. £10 million from Wolves, not bad. Next up is another Englishman. Now, this is more of a backup central defender. I said in the last episode that I wanted to get a young backup, but then I figured to myself, well, why not get one that's still pretty decent to start with? And he's not pretty decent, I suppose. He's 1.5 stars, but he has what I like to, he's got the base stats that are good for a central defender, and that's kind of what I'm interested in. He's got decent heading, decent marking, decent tackling. The mentals are okay. His bravery is on a little on the low side, but he's still not bad. I'm actually thinking that sometimes the star ratings can be a little bit of a lie, and I think that might be down to the fact that he's not got some of the best attacking mentalities. But I think for a defender, he's actually pretty decent. Some of his physicals could do a little bit higher, but again, he's 22 years old. We brought him in from Watford, and he's cost us 11.5 million, which again is a lot of money. But this is what I'm saying: you can't demand me to buy English players and then complain about how much I pay for them, because that's the way it works. You don't get cheap English players, not ones that are any good. Sam Farmer was cheap because he was incredibly young, but we don't have time to develop those ones into the, well, we do, and these ones are for the future, of course, but sometimes you're just going to have to pay a lot of money. Can't have it both ways. So yeah, this is Kevin Stoyle. Okay, this is a strange one. Now, he became available, and I know that some of his physicals are ridiculously poor in terms of his pace and his acceleration and things like that, but I figured, why not have an experienced goalkeeper anyway? Just bring him in. He's a decent backup. Now we've got 3 because we've still kept Ribeiro. I didn't actually remove him in the end because I just wasn't sure. I couldn't find any good goalkeepers. There just weren't many available, in all honesty. All the good keepers seem to be at good clubs and would never ever come to us. Anyone I could find just had decent potential from what I could see. All the scout reports, they were all sort of like 2-star but with a bit more potential, and I thought, we've already got Langura for that. So I thought I'd bring Fraser Forster in anyway since he was available, and we picked him up from Cardiff for like, I don't know, £150,000 I think, so it wasn't much of an outlay for us. I just thought squad players, if nothing else. He's a backup anyway, so why not bring him in? Next up is the lad we've all been waiting to see, and that is Mateus. Now, he's coming from Brazil. He didn't actually have any trouble getting a work permit, which I was a little surprised about, to be honest. So there's that. But, I mean, some of his attacking stats are phenomenal. 17 finishing at the age of 18. I am enjoying that. And I think for me, he could really be a great asset to our front line. Now, there's one slight problem, and that is he has a really, really small release clause, and I'm so worried about it. I don't even know where this came from, because I don't remember negotiating a release clause, but this is because I signed him 4 years ago. The release clause is £160,000, which is mental, and I just don't know why. You probably find I looked at at it and thought, that's nowhere. I probably just didn't even think it was a release clause because it was so small. So we're really going to have to get him on a new contract as soon as physically possible. I'm going to try it in January because I think he wouldn't sign one right now because he's only just joined. So hopefully we can hold on to him because that would be a really silly thing for me to do. But anyway, that is Mateus. He's finally joined us. Next up is a Scottish striker. Now, I wasn't really looking for strikers at all in the summer, but I ended up picking this lad up because, why the hell not? He cost us £1 million from, who was it actually from? I can't even remember. Why is it not displayed down here? Surely, usually it tells you what team they used to play for, doesn't it? There we go. St Mirren, I forgot, yeah. From St Mirren for £1 million. He scored 9 goals in 20 appearances for them. I like him. I think he's got a long way to improve, of course, and he's a Scottish player, so that then gives us more sort of young British backups, and that's what I like to see, basically. Another type of Colin Murphy type of player, but he's around and he's a decent enough looking player, so I just thought, why not bring him in for £1 million? We couldn't really argue at that point. Next up is another Scotsman. Now, I've signed him for 2 reasons. One, because, again, he's a winger with a decent amount of potential, and that's always nice to see. Scottish again, 16 years old, so he's going to be, you know, fair enough, he's not going to be playing anytime soon, but look at the hair! I mean, he's got a brown beard and white hair. It's fantastic. It's like he's been dipped in like milk. I like that. This is Lee Alexander. We brought him from Hearts. He actually cost us, I think, even less. I think it was like 700 grand he cost us, which is not bad for what is a fairly solid. Well, not fairly solid, but the point is he'll probably go out on loan. I haven't done it yet, but I don't know. I kind of want to keep him around for backup because we've got Europa League this year. We're not in it yet, but we're going to do the draw in the next episode. So I'm just curious to see how he does. Maybe get him in some games against poorer sides if we do get drawn against them, because remember, we're straight into the group stages. Now, I said I wanted to sign a right back and a left back and a backup for Sam Farmer, and I ended up doing all 3 in one go, and that is Mohamed Achabar, and he was actually the first player I'd signed. I've been interested in him for a little while, and we have paid a fair amount of money. We actually paid, I think, 17 million for him, but he's already worth more than that, and he's on a fair amount of money for an 18-year-old Frenchman, but when Lille actually accepted it, and I was very surprised. I put a sort of derisory bid in of like, I think it was like 12 million for him, even though he was valued at the time at like 20, just to see if they would actually go a little bit lower, and they actually did. So, hey, the fact is he's got decent current ability, which is why I'm kind of interested in him. He can play in that defensive midfield role, but he can also play at centre-back, centre-mid, left and right back. Okay, his crossing's not superb, but the point is he's the ultimate backup utility player, and I think we'll get a lot of use out of him this year, and I'm really excited for him to come in. The final signing in terms of players that have actually joined us, though I am after a right back too, don't worry. There's a guy I'm looking for called, I can't remember what he's called, from Peru, who is a national team player, which means I should be able to bring him in, but we've not. I'll show you him in the next episode because we've not actually completed the sign. Now, this is the signing that, you know, I said I wanted to get an Everton on this wing, and okay, we've had to pay a bit for this guy because he's actually coming from Mainz, and you know how expensive the players from Germany are, and I don't think I've ever actually managed to get a player in from Germany, because look at this. He runs with the ball down the right, with the left, he can get forward, which is nice. He likes to switch ball to the other flank, which is always lovely. I love to see that type of thing, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Oh, hello. I don't know what's happened there. I'm hoping that this isn't going to screw up now. So yeah, Philip Aisler. Sorry, my computer makes some weird noises, and it worries me when it does that because it's on its. I don't know, it's a bit jittery at the moment. So yeah, Philip Aisler. He is joined us on a 4-year deal. He's cost us in total. I mean, he's cost us a lot of money. I think in total the fee could rise to over 40 million, but we needed someone on that left wing, like someone that can play there week in, week out, and I think he is that man. He's got great first touch, decent dribbling, fantastic crossing, which is fantastic to see. He's got good determination, but at this point I wasn't even bothered. I didn't even notice that until he actually joined us, because I was more interested in these stats, to be honest, guys. Decent-ish work rate, he's pacey, he's got it all in theory. Now, I think we might have paid a little bit more, and he's on a decent amount of money as well, which is a shame, but one of those things you just have to accept sometimes. But I don't know, I just feel like we needed to get someone on that left wing, and I think he is the man for that job. So let's move on to the players that have left the club now. First one that's gone is Tom Cleverley. We sold him eventually for £1 million to Al Jazeera, and it just kind of had to be done. He probably wasn't going to play for us that much, particularly with the players we brought in, and I just figured we needed to cash in. We're not going to get as much money as we did last year, of course, because unfortunately they wouldn't let me do the bloody... it was annoying because I wish I'd been able to sell him last year, but all the clubs were no longer interested when I tried to put him back out there. But there you go, we got £1 million for him, and that just went back into the reinvest. He's on 55 grand there as well, so that's certainly something. Herolin Schaller has gone out to Wolves. He was on 30 grand at the club, so I just decided to move him on for like £350,000. It's nothing special, but it's money in the bank and lots more wages freed up too, so that's always good. Bernardo, he was just never going to be a fit for us. Like, he has some decent stats, but the problem was his pace. He was so slow, and that really did catch us out when we were playing a high line. £450,000 though we managed to get for him to Millwall, so I think that was a decent piece of business from us, really. Jake Reeves. Now, we had a bid, and I thought, you know what? It's probably for the best of his career if he leaves the club. He's been a massive legend for this sale, I have to say, from the early stages, but I just didn't think there was any point in keeping him around. So he's moved on for, I think it was £600,000 to Reading. I think it was, or was it 550? I think it was 550. And, you know, I think that's a reasonable amount of money for a player that really just wasn't good enough for us anymore. It's interesting that he plays as a regista as his sort of main role. That's interesting there. So yeah, that's Jake Reeves, of course. Kim Dong-hwan. Now, the only reason I sold Kim Dong-hwan to Verona for 1.2 million, which is actually his value, amazingly, was because he was just unhappy and he was causing all kinds of problems. So I just decided, you know what? Sod you, you're done here. He didn't play, or he played okay for us at times, but it was nothing special. So to get 1.2 million for him was a decent piece of business. The biggest piece of business going out is Radak Marley. We had a bid, and I thought, you know what? With Mateus coming in, some of the other new strikers coming in, he hasn't developed in the way that I would have liked, unfortunately, and I just don't think we need a target man type of striker at the moment. I decided to accept the bid. It's 3.5 up front, but it could rise as high as 6 million, and I just thought, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just get Marley out and sort of freshen things up a little bit, because he wasn't on huge money, but I don't know. I just feel like for the best of his career, because he was starting to complain as well, so we had to try and move things on. So yeah, there we go. Let's take it to the tactics now. Right then, guys, we're back on the tactics screen. Now, you might notice a few little changes, and someone pointed this out to me, and I think it was a very valid point at the time, and that is that some of the roles we use in our tactic were often very based on a counter-attacking system, and obviously that's true, because when we started this tactic, it was based around a counter-attacking style, but then we didn't really adapt the roles for a more attacking style of play when we switched to control. So I've actually built two tactics with some slight changes. So the first of which is both tactics now have a goalkeeper on defend, because I just feel like it's... Also, you notice that Langura isn't able to play because he actually dislocated his shoulder. But yeah, so I just feel like this is probably a better approach to things. So we've got goalkeepers on defence, since they don't come out anyway, so what's the point in having them as sweeper keepers? Now then, for the control version, the few things we've changed literally is a couple of tiny little switches. Firstly, both of our wingers are now on attack because they weren't getting forward enough. We weren't, if the striker had a bad day, there was no one else to put the goals in the back of the net, particularly as Carlos doesn't have the best finishing. Also, we've moved the one on the left-hand side, Isla here, to an advanced forward. Now, I'm just, not advanced forward, an inside forward. Now, I'm wondering if with his fantastic crossing, whether that's actually such a good idea. And I might be tempted, since he's going to be the one playing there, to actually put him back on a winger on attack, because he's just so good in that role. Where's his best? That's interesting. So yeah, we're going to put him on that for now. But yeah, that's the sort of idea of maybe when someone else plays there, they could do that. Someone particularly like Baltam could maybe benefit from that. And then, of course, on the other tactic is basically the way things were, except with the wingers on support. That's all I've really changed for now. I'm thinking about maybe some other changes, but again, I don't want to push it too hard on that one. Is there anything else I want to quickly say? Yeah, we're predicted 9th this year. So that's interesting. We're actually predicted a top half finish. They've decided to really up us on that one, so it could be a little bit difficult. So we're going to go with control, because we're away at Southampton. They're a decent side, but I still feel like we're better now. With the players we've got in, we are definitely a better side. Anderson, unfortunately, because of Aaron... What the hell? Brian goes, oh, actually, wait. Is that really what I want to do? We don't really have much of a choice in the matter, because I don't think Stoyle is really good enough for that. We're going to have to go Gomez. He's a better left-back. We'll just have to kind of deal with that and accept that might not be... The thing is, with Isla not being too great at getting back, we could have a problem there. So there's that. Also, we're ground sharing with Arsenal. Because of the renovations to our stadium to make it even bigger, we're actually now ground sharing with Arsenal at the Emirates. So that's kind of interesting, because we're going to have a 60,000 seat stadium for a little while. I think the renovations are done in September though, which means it shouldn't be that long until we're actually able to get into the new stadium and kind of get things going for us. So hopefully things will work out just fine. Now, you might notice the league table's still down here. I might just leave it down here actually, because sometimes people complain about they couldn't see the league table because it was covered up by all the stuff coming in, and that's fair enough. So we'll leave it down here. City have obviously won the early kickoff against Tottenham, interestingly. Ramsdale's making key passes for days already. Is there anything else? Nope. We had some trouble hanging on to some players in the summer, but we have managed to do that. Everton complained a shitload about wanting to leave, but we did manage to hang on to him in the end, which was nice. Anyone else was really annoyed? Sam Farmer has signed a new deal. I think I might have already explained this to you guys, but he has signed a new deal. We had to put the release clauses in, unfortunately, because, either we didn't and then he would go, and I just don't know. We'll have to try a new contract in him maybe next summer to try and remove the release clauses. Okay, so far 0-0, fine. We've had one long shot, but we've not created any opportunities as yet. So that's interesting to me. Ramsdale's had a good game in the middle, which is nice to see. We'll get to half-time, we'll take a little look at things, and oh hello, is there going to be one? Please don't bugger this up now, guys. Planic, here we go. To Mark Anderson. Hopefully Planic and Gomez will be our key partnership. Planic, we had a bid from him of 36 million from Manchester City. Fabio's in here. Go on, Fabs. Oh, he is the king of those types of finishes. The hair's back. The hair is back, guys. Fabio started the new season with a goal and a fresh haircut, and we lead away at Southampton. And I tell you what, that was a bit Route 1, actually, which is surprising. Also, on the control tactic, I've upped the tempo to normal, so we can play that ball around a little bit faster. We didn't even need much of a chance here. Carlos with a gorgeous pass over the top. I didn't think Fabio would be able to finish this. He's outside the box, I think. Just on the edge. Great strike. Goalkeeper maybe could have done a little bit better, but it is 1-0 to Wimbledon here at Southampton. The perfect start if we could... Hello, that looks like an injury. Is it to us or them? No, it's them, I think. Okay, cool. It's just occurred to me, Fulham are beating Man United 4-1. I suddenly don't feel so bad about the fact that we lost, was it 4-3 to Fulham, or 4-1 down in that game at one point. Nobody's playing particularly badly. Oh dear, we're going to have to turn this on, aren't we? Yeah, oops. Right, okay. Sorry, this is the first time I've actually played the game in a couple of days. Right, let's just see. So again, still favouring this right-hand side, but there's a little bit more coming down this left now, which is nice. Southampton getting a few crosses in, but to be fair, they're mostly from corners. It's mostly long ball type of stuff from Southampton, so I'm just wondering if we actually just drop it down a little bit and just stand off slightly. I know that sounds stupid considering we're preventing the short goalkeeper distribution, but I've actually found that works quite well sometimes. If they're playing a lot of long balls, if you just stand off a little bit, it means that you're in a better position to actually deal with the balls. There's 2 players on Redmond here. Good ball. Oh, cleared. Ibe. Oh, Ribeiro makes the big save. It's going to be a sort of battle between Ribeiro, Langura and Fraser Forster this year for who actually plays. But it's nice to have 3 goalkeepers that are all actually vying for position. Win that. Gomez does brilliantly to win that. Isola. Oh, that's a poor touch from him, actually. I would have expected better there. Matuidi, interestingly, up in the middle for Southampton. Andre Silva's a lot of space out wide. Redmond, he's gone around his man. Don't let him pull it across. Oh, what a save that is. Great save from Ribeiro. Planet should have done better. Let's not beat around the bush there. He absolutely should have. Manquillo with a good header clearance. Southampton are coming onto us a little bit more. I wonder if that's because we're allowing them onto us with our defensive tactics. Let's just take a little... Right, I'm actually starting to wonder if we should be pushing them a bit more now. Andre Silva. Oh, right. They're getting down these wings quite a lot. I just wonder if... Also, the other thing I've changed, I think, about this system as well is that I think we're actually set to play a little bit wider than we were before, which is interesting. Kolka. Yeah, I'm wondering if standing off was a bad idea, actually. After this play, so I have a horrible feeling we've got away with one too many now. Redmond's in. What a save again. Right, okay. Southampton have really stepped it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to what we were doing, closing down more. And, yeah, okay. Also going to just drop it into balanced a little bit. I don't know, because you think, well, if you're playing slightly wider, that would in theory mean that your fullbacks are closer to them. But it also means there's gaps in between the lines, I suppose. Southampton are looking really good all of a sudden. We need to do something about this. Anderson. Redmond, oh my god, it was coming. It's been coming for a while. They've really been good in this second half. And what have they changed, though? That's the question. We were looking good, but they've really stepped it up in this second half. And I just wonder if there's something we can do about that, because we were looking decent, but that's a great ball in. Poor clearance from Anderson. Redmond knocks it across, and it's a simple finish for Horvath Nielsen. Okay. All is not lost, but they have definitely been the better side today, particularly in this second period. Trap again, right, they're looking long. Flicked it into the corner, right, just get across. I don't know who that is, actually. Is it Planish? Right, just be careful with this. That's so bad. We're looking... Oh, dear, he's on... Oh, don't foul him. Please don't foul him. Oh, my God. They've absolutely... What have we done? I don't even know what we've... I think they've changed something, and we just have no answer to it at the moment, and that is a worry for me. I can't figure out what they've done. I mean... Actually, we'll take a look at the pros on. I can't believe how quickly they've flipped this around on us. And the fact is, if we don't sort something out quickly, they will score 4s and 5s against us, because it is looking that... Is it seriously going to be insta-highlight? Nothing I do now will make any difference until the end of this highlight anyway, unless this is an equaliser for us, in which case, fair enough. Then we can sort of go into things with a clean outlook. Manquillo, right, There's plenty of space in between the lines. Carlos, Everton, loses the ball. Uh-oh. Maybe we need to play a little deeper. Nielsen's... Okay, just don't bother tracking him then. Right, okay, there's something's definitely changed in this second half. The question is... What is that? Hit woodwork. Oh, I didn't know you could even do that one. I wonder if we could mix our passing up a little bit, because it seems like we're getting too caught there. Maybe stop playing out of defence a little bit, and start trying to just get that ball up the field a little bit quicker. Maybe. But it also could be because our wingers are on attack. That's the reason I don't like having wingers on attack most of the time, is because I feel like they don't offer as much support getting back, and it's going to leave us vulnerable at crosses. So we'll see what we do if we put this back on support again. I personally think our tactic from last year was pretty decent, and given our 5th place, I think it is, but I still feel there's always tweaks that can be made. Matuidi, Camarasa, that's a bit better. Kolka, we're pushing them back a little bit more now. But again, he's just going to lump this over the top, and it's a goal, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what the defenders are playing at. That is such a simple situation. A deeper line would definitely be befitting of us at this point, but oh my goodness. Go on, win that. Cleared it straight to... Southampton have been superb today. Oh my god. I cannot figure out what they've done. I mean, they've been superb. Take nothing away from Southampton. We've just not even turned up in this second half. Whatever they've changed at half-time has completely flabbergasted the team, and they've got no answer to it at the moment. And nothing I've done has made any difference. That is a fantastic pass, but you'd think one of them would at least try and catch that out. They've just been superb in this second period. Just unplayable, to be honest. Right, changes. Who's played poorly? Thing is, we've got players on 8s and 9s. Okay, Gomez has played really badly, and I just think that maybe Fuentes for a bit, just to put some throw his body around a little bit. Isla hasn't been superb out on this wing either. Maybe Masak in the middle, get his foot on the ball a bit more? I don't know. Triple sub might be all we can do right now. We're going to go on to attacking for the last little part of this. I just don't know. What other changes did I make? Let's go back to this again. Let's exploit those flanks a little bit more, or let's just exploit the right flank for now, because... I don't know. I think this one's a goner. And that's a shame. I feel like we've... Well, I would say we played well in the first half and did well to get the goal, but they've been absolutely astonishingly good in this second period. And if they got another one, it frankly wouldn't be a huge surprise. We're just not closing them down at all. Nobody's putting any tackles in. When they are, I'll probably give away a penalty now. Oh, man. Okay, not exactly the perfect start to the season, but hopefully it's not going to be a sign of things to come. We scored the goal, looked fine, but my goodness, Southampton have absolutely torn us apart in this second half. Was there any players for them that stood out? My guess is that there is, and I've just probably been a massive oversight on that one. 8 key passes for Andre Silva. Tell me we're marking him. Of course not. That's my bad, though. That's my fault. It's not going to make any difference at this point, but maybe it would have done if we'd marked that one up a little bit earlier. 3-1 defeat here is, frankly, it almost looks flattering on us given the way we've played in this second half. It's been really, really poor. Southampton just looks so good. They've got these long balls over the top, and we have no answer to it at the moment. That's a good tackle, but it's just going to come straight back at us. He'll slip that through, and that's another goal. Good tackle again. Adekanye, good block again, but they deserve at least another goal from this game, to be honest. We've been that bad. We really, really have. And it's a shame. But we're going to have to step things up in the next match, because these are the sort of games that we need to be taking points from, at least a draw from this game. And there you go, Southampton 3, Wimbledon 1, a very poor start to the season. That was really, really bad. And that is not all on the players, of course. Tactically, I did some things terribly in that game. We must have. Wow, 4-5, or 5-4 rather. Not a good start. Hopefully we can recover. We've got Watford at home next, and hopefully we can get a win there and hopefully get some confidence back in these players, because they're going to need it, frankly, after that performance. That's a worrying development to start this season. Now, in the next episode, the first thing you're probably going to see is the Europa League draw, because we do have the draw before what I'm thinking is going to be the next live con, which I'm going to pick, and I think it's a home against Chelsea, because I did actually have a look at this in advance. Now, the game has taken an absolute age over these things lately, and I don't know why. I think it's my computer again. It's very, very iffy currently, so I'm a little bit worried that when I press stop, this whole thing is just going to crash. So anyway, I'll join you guys in a sec once we actually get to the point where the game's loaded. Right, we're finally back after about 9 hours of just spinning. This is getting silly now, it really is. So, yeah, actually we're going to do the Spurs game in the next episode, because there's only 2 matches otherwise, and that would be a bit poor, but it is still quite a long way away. In fact, it's over a month, as you can see, so fair enough. Really on that one. So, if you have enjoyed this episode, guys, despite the relatively poor result on the opening day, please do smash the like button. That would be magnificent. And if you'd like to even more than that, please do subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in your inbox every single day at 7 o'clock. And I'll join you guys in the next episode for a home game against Spurs. We've got very tough games at this point, because we've got Man City, Chelsea and Spurs all in a row. We could actually be really quite struggling after that. If we don't win against Watford, we're in troubles. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.